Hey y'all, this is Michelle with Celtic Wind Farm, and on today's episode we're going to work again on self-sufficiency, making homemade butter at home in less than 10 minutes. And these are the supplies you'll need. I have the heavy cream. Ideally it will be fresh from either your own animals or a local farm, but a lot of us are not there yet, so it's fine to buy some heavy cream from your local supermarket. We need 2 bowls. I find the stainless steel works really well because you can pop it in the freezer or the fridge for 15-20 minutes and it helps your butter stay firmer or get firmer quicker. That's not necessary though. If you have plastic, that'll work too. A strainer to strain the buttermilk from the butter. And then of course your hand mixer. If you don't have a hand mixer, you can shake it in a mason jar or any type of glass jar or any container like that. It helps to be see-through so you can judge the consistency of your butter. But you have to shake it a lot and it takes 20 minutes or more, but that's how they did it. A lot of people did it in the old days, so you can just pass it around your family and make a game of it and shake your butter up in the mason jar. That works too and makes butter just as good. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the heavy cream. I have 2 cups here, which is also equal to 500 grams of heavy cream. Must be heavy. And I'm just going to move this here out of the way, and I'm going to pour this heavy cream in my pre-chilled stainless steel bowl. You don't have to pre-chill, it just helps make it go a little quicker and easier. And then next we are going to mix it with the hand mixer, but we're going to go past the whipped cream stage, so it's going to take longer. If any of you have made your own homemade whipped cream, we're going to go past that. Now this here is the whipped cream stage, so if you wanted whipped cream for your family, you would just mix it with sugar or sweetener, artificial sweetener to your taste if you want the low sugar or no sugar variety for people who are on the keto or paleo diet or what have you. And then you would put it in the freezer and that would be it. But we're going to go past that because we're going to the butter stage, so we're going to go past this. Okay, you know you're beginning to hit butter pay dirt when you start seeing the buttermilk separate. If you can see that liquid there, the buttermilk is separating from the heavy cream, or from the butter, excuse me. So I'm getting to where I need to go. And please also remember, if you're using fresh dairy, which is really awesome, but there are variables with fresh dairy. Some dairy that you get fresh may go through the process quicker, and some you may have to blend it a little longer. But just make sure you get to the point that you're using a high enough speed as well, that you get to the point where you start having the separation of the buttermilk from the butter. And don't throw the buttermilk away, because it's awesome as a milk substitute to add an extra punch of flavor in whatever you cook that calls for milk. So hang on to that, it's really good stuff. Okay, now I've got the butter made and it has separated from the buttermilk, so I'm just kind of smushing it together a little bit, and then I'm going to place it in my strainer and let it strain. I have gloves on. You don't have to have gloves on, but I just find that when your skin directly touches the butter, it just seems to melt it faster. It might just be my imagination, but but I wear them anyways because I think it helps it retain its form and not heat it up so much when you're not directly touching it. And then I'm just going to keep squeezing the butter and kneading it and letting it drain for a little bit. Now it's important to get as much of the buttermilk out as you can, because if you don't, number one, it won't hold as good a form, and number two, it'll go bad faster. Okay, so look at all that good buttermilk I have there. I'm going to save that. And then next I'm going to transfer this into the ice water. And then I'm just going to keep beating it and working it. And you're going to see the water turning opaque. And that's more buttermilk that's coming out of the butter. I'm catching these little loose pieces, putting them back on there. And the ice water really helps because you're kind of chasing the tiger's tail or chasing your own tail when you don't have it cool enough and it's constantly melting in your hands and you're losing the precious butter fat. And still releasing buttermilk. And just dip it periodically to keep it nice and chill. And I'm also going to dump this and get some fresh water. Okay, so I got a new pan of water, and that was just so I could accurately judge how much I've let out of here of the buttermilk. And just keep working it and kneading it. Actually not too much kneading, mostly squeezing and forming. You see when I squeeze, little drops of buttermilk come out. Let it sit another minute and let it drain. Okay, so now we have our little butter ball here, and I just like the little Amish style bricks. So I have it on parchment paper or wax paper, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to fold it like they do in the store where you buy the Amish butter. And you form it into a brick. But you try not to make a mess like I'm doing. And then you want to refrigerate it for at least 1 hour before you use it. I'm not a fancy folder here, but there you go. You got a little brick of butter. And I'm going to stick it in the fridge for 1 hour, and then I will pull it out and let you guys see the final product. Okay, one thing I forgot to add is during the forming stage of your butter, if you wanted to add salt, if you prefer salted butter, or if you like to add herbs like rosemary, chives, whatever you want to put in your butter, the forming stage where you put it into the parchment or wax paper is the perfect time to do that. Okay, I have let my homemade butter sit in the refrigerator for 1 hour, and we are going to unveil it and see what we have. Well, there you go, a little pat of butter. And I'm going to cut some. Oh, gorgeous. I like the color. Very pretty. And you can also keep this in the freezer if it's a lot for your family, or you want to have a butter day where you make a lot of butter in one day. It is freezable. So that's something to keep in mind. Well, thank you guys for joining us, and I hope this helps you take one more step to sustainability. Break away from the system. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.